Greetings and welcome to Community Centered, where we talk about what community is, why community matters, why you matter to community, and most importantly, how to start building it here and now. I'm Ellie Whittekins, and it's been a little while. I've had some things going on in life, and it's been a while since I've been able to get a video to you guys, so I'm taking a break from the series. I will get back to that in the following video, but to get a video up a little bit sooner, I wanted to go through something that I had recently found. On YouTube, there is a channel called Data is Beautiful, and she makes these really interesting videos with data collected from over the years in different surveys and data and research collection. And they're really cool. I love the graphics, and some of it really pertains to stuff that I like to talk about. So today we're gonna look at a video called How We Spend Our Time, and it's data collected from the 1920s to 2026. And it's really cool. It's a really cool visual representation of a lot of what people have been seeing in terms of why we don't really have friendships anymore and what we're really spending our time doing. And it's just cool. So I wanted to show it with you guys. I wanted to share it with you and go through a little bit and talk a little bit about the history and the timeline and what is causing some of these shifts. And it's a great, like I said, it's a great visual representation because you can really see how inventions and how different apps and different websites coming online, launching, you can see how that really affected everyone. So we're going to get into this video. Like I said, it's from a YouTube channel called Data is Beautiful. I'll link the whole video in the comments below, but also go check out the channel. I've been looking at some of the other stuff and it looks really interesting. So just to let you know, so this is based on American time. Like I said, it's from Time Use Data and Diary Studies is how she posited this. And it's for adults aged 25 to 35. We're talking about in America here. And she excluded things like work and sleep from this. So if you take a look here on the screen, there's 15 items. These items, as they shift throughout time, the thing that we spend the most time doing is going to shift to the top, and things are going to change. And keep in mind with these data collections, there isn't necessarily a data set for every single year. It is, every however many years, depending on what data was going on and who was doing research. So she has essentially built it as a mathematical model to show how it shifts. So 15 items on the screen. Right now, the top 4 are housework, cooking, eating, and meeting with friends. So meeting with friends is 4th on the list, and it's saying that people do it an hour a day, 60 minutes a day, and that is average per person. So let's go ahead and jump in this. I'm going to hit play, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. So we're starting in 1921. This video actually has really great music to it, but I muted it because I don't want to worry about a copyright thing. So as you can see, housework is kind of going down. Meeting with friends is actually increasing. I mean, look at that. We're almost to 1930 here, and it's already over an hour a day. Think about that for a second. When was the last time you saw your friends for an hour every day? Or if you're only meeting on Saturdays, did you sit with them for 7 full hours? Like, that is a lot of time. And when we get to the end here, you're going to see exactly how it compares to modern culture and how often we're seeing our friends now. And it is sad. It is sad. So here we go. So we're into the 1930s. So we're talking already about the crash in the late 1920s. So we can see meeting friends going down. Listening to the radio has shot way up there. So we just got into 1939, so we're almost to World War II here. I think you're going to see adult activities near the bottom, basically falling off the map in a second. That is my hunch here, my prediction. I have actually watched this video before, but there's a lot of things going on the screen, so I haven't watched all of them. So we're going a little bit lower on meeting friends. We're still above the hour mark. Yep. And we're under an hour now for meeting and talk with friends. Reading the news is increasing. Commuting is increasing. Oh, there goes. So we're right here. You see watching TV just popped on the screen. In fact, here, let me rewind that a couple years here to 44. Okay, so TV isn't there. So watch it here, pop up on the screen. There the TV pops up, and look, it's just flying through those numbers. So I'm going to remind you here that in 1959, 90% of American households owned a television. So right now we're at 1948, and the average is 13 minutes per day, almost 14 minutes per day, and it's just going to increase. Watch this. There's 49, 50. It surpassed reading the news. There it goes, past meeting with friends. And there it is, right up the tippy top. We're not even to 1959 yet, and already the average American was watching TV for an hour a day. That is frightening. You see how quickly it just took over and went right up the leaderboard? That is insane. And you're going to see that several more times in this video. And it's always with the technological entertainment. You actually saw radio do that earlier in the video, but it was not as staggering as what the television did. So let's keep going here. Friendship-wise, we're down to meeting friends for under 45 minutes a day. There they go. Look at that. So this is usually about the part, yep, we're past 1959, so saturation had already reached 90% in America. So this is usually about the time where you see a lot of things stagnate when you look at how people use their time. Everything else is going lower. Look at that. Look at that. So meeting friends is, well, here, let's sort that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th on the list. And it started out as 4th. And you've already lost about 25 to 30 minutes of friend time per day. So in a week, you're talking about 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours that you're seeing your friends less than you did 40 years prior. 40, 50 years prior. That's a pretty significant shift. And in terms of watching television, you are already at 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day on average for an American to be watching television a day, and it is 1969. Let's keep going. Obviously, you're seeing cooking and housework go down. You're seeing commuting time goes up. Eating time is actually going lower. So right now in the lead, you have watching television and you have listening to radio. So here we go. Now in 1980, CNN launched 24/7 programming. So you're still seeing TV climbing. You're going to find other televisions, what do I want to say, like stations to start doing the same thing, the 24/7 programming. You get listening to music. I just see playing games has come up at the bottom and it's still rising. Making friends or meeting friends is still going lower. We're under 30 minutes now for meeting with your friends every day. Games is climbing. So right now, right before we change, there goes browsing the internet is on, and it just climbed too. So browsing the internet just showed up on this list. Now in 1999, I think 50% of American households had a computer and the internet. Is that right? Yes, 1999, 50% of American households had a PC and internet in the home. So this browsing the internet is going to start rocketing once again. 1999, we're not even there yet, and it's already starting to climb the leaderboard. Television wise, you are well over 3 hours a day now. And if you think about that, 3 hours a day of television, if you think of, during the weekday, you basically you have a third of your time is sleeping, a third of your time is at work, and you only have a third left, right? You have 8 hours a day. 3 hours a day television is actually quite a bit. If you think about the other things that you have to do, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to take a shower, you have commuting in here. When you get through it, like 3 hours is actually a rather large chunk of your time. And 3 hours of it a day per average American was going towards TV. And it's going to get worse. So let's take a look here. Like I said, 1999, saturation reached 50%. And what you're going to find here, in 2005, YouTube launched. In 2006, Facebook launched. And in 2007, Netflix started their streaming service. So here we go. There we go. Streaming for Netflix and YouTube just appeared there at the bottom in 2008. So it finally made it onto this list of the 15. Now, keep in mind, Meeting with Friends is getting real close to the bottom there. And it is it still in the top 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's no longer in the top 10. It is in the bottom 5 of this list. So it's no longer in the top 10. You're Meeting Friends maybe 20 minutes a day here. Just over 20 minutes a day. And this Netflix and streaming Netflix and YouTube is going to skyrocket. And you're also going to see some scrolling. Yep, there's social media scrolling, so that's our Facebook one. Look at them take off. Friends is at the bottom of the list. We're only at 2011, and it's under 20 minutes a day. There it is. All the way up the board. Commuting's still increasing. Commuting is actually quite crazy how much that has increased. So now, friendship just fell off the board. We're only at 2017. Keep in mind, COVID hasn't even happened yet. 2017, the Meeting Your Friends has fallen off the board, which means you're doing it for less than 15 minutes a day, which if you're only meeting your friends once a week, that means you are meeting your friends and you're spending less than 2 hours of time with them. That is far less than 2 hours of time with them for it not to make this list for the average American. That's pretty low, because I think for the most part when I meet my groups or my friends, we're easily sitting there for a good 2 hours. It depends a little bit on what the group is, but I would say it's pretty easy to get 2 hours in. So people are not meeting people at all at this point. So in terms of your top 4, you have watching TV, you have streaming for Netflix, YouTube, you have scrolling social media, and you have listening to music, and then you have playing games. Between all of those, you have 2 hours of TV a day, hour and a half of YouTube, so that's 3.5 hours, hour of social media, so that's 4.5 hours. Okay, so you have like 4.5 hours between the top 3. You want to throw video games in there, you're talking 5.5 hours. Commuting is another hour. Like, at this point, when I said, you basically have 8 hours a day to do something, most of that is taken up right there. You basically don't have much time left. And that's what you're going to keep saying. Obviously, like, the top one keeps expanding. How low a bunch of these other things go in terms of what people are spending their time doing. So let's keep playing it. I think you're probably going to see listening to music drop off here. Looks like commuting is going down. I'm wondering if that's because COVID's about to happen. So here we are, beginning of 2020. Actually, you know what? Let's just pop that back. Let's go just back a few seconds and let's stop it in 2019. There we go. Okay, so we got 2019 here. Once again, you have an hour and a half of television, 2.5 hours of television a day, an hour and a half of the streaming service a day. So you're already up to 4 hours. Between your top 2, 4 hours a day staring at a screen. And hey, if you throw social media in there, you're at about 5.5 hours a day. 5.5 hours a day. So that is a lot of time. We're 2019. This is before COVID. I'm thinking here in 2020 and 2021, you're going to watch commuting probably fall off a cliff because no one was going anywhere. And you're just going to see these skyrocket. You're going to see browsing the internet is probably, well, I feel like browsing the internet was more like a 90s term. At this point, no one browses the internet. We just scroll on social media. Let's be honest. Oh, but browsing the internet is still going up. Still increasing. Oh, there you go. Look at YouTube. Look at YouTube. Oh my goodness. So 2022, and I think it's actually come down from the peak because I saw it at 180 a minute ago. But you're talking 3 hours of YouTube a day. Watching television is over 2. So there's 5 hours of your time, and social media is another 2. So there's 7 hours. So once again, if you're talking 8 hours of a day that you have to do things, I know weekends are in here too, but if you just think 8 hours a day, you could do that all in what you're streaming, watching TV, and scrolling on social media daily doing. Also, if your weekends are bumping that up so much, you're not doing a lot of fun things on your weekend. I'm just saying, I'm judging a little bit here, but you're not doing fun things on your weekend if you're spending all of it watching television and streaming and scrolling on social media. So yeah, commuting fell off off a cliff now. Now it's climbing back up. Oh, meeting friends just popped back up. You see that? So we got 10 minutes a day, 2025, and here we're going to come into 2026. And there we go. There it is. So 2026, we have almost 13 minutes, 12 minutes and 50 seconds per day, per average American, of meeting your friends. And we wonder why we're so lonely. That is why it is barely on this board. And once again, if you meet your friends once a week and that's all the meeting that you're doing, you are seeing them for what at that point, to average out to this. If the average person only actually saw their friends once a week, that composite of time would be not even 2 hours. It'd be just over like an hour and a half, if I'm doing my math right. So there you have it. If you remember where we started with this, we started with streaming service. Well, no, I'm sorry. If you remember where we started with this, we started with housework, cooking, eating meals, and meeting with friends in the top 4. And now those have been replaced with the streaming, the scrolling, the watching TV. Listening to music, shockingly, is still on here. Which is interesting to see because I don't personally know anyone who just like sits around and listens to music. I mean, I listen to it, but usually it's because I'm cleaning. It's usually like background noise to another activity. Obviously, I listen to music in the car. So it's fascinating to me that listening to music is on here, but then you see the playing games, texting, browsing the internet, which also I find shocking that it's still on here because I don't know anyone who describes their time as browsing the internet anymore. And that meeting friends is way, way at the bottom. So these are how things have shifted. Like I said, cooking, housework, the fact that those are lower is not end of the world. Eating meals is a little bit of both because if you think about it, people used to eat meals with people more, usually family, which, family time is not represented on this chart at all. So people used to socialize while eating meals. Now it's down to 40 minutes a day, which if you're eating 30 meals 30 meals. We wish, right? If you're eating 3 meals a day, you're talking just over 10 minutes per meal, which is rather a short time if you think about it. Because like when I eat with someone, we definitely spend longer than that eating. But when you're eating alone, it takes, barely any time at all. So it definitely shows like how much less socializing is going on, even in the parts where you don't really see it. Anyways, that is really my video. That is what I kind of wanted to show you guys. Like I said, really fascinating stuff from Data is Beautiful. I'll leave a link to this video down below. Check it out. Check out the awesome music that's with it. I really do find it fun. And check out some of her other videos that uses data to really represent how things have changed over time. Once again, just get out there, make friends, go talk to people. Call up your friend and arrange to spend some time together. Go shopping, go out eating, go try a new restaurant, find a food truck. Like, what are they? Like the food truck fairs that people do. Go find one of those in the area, maybe I don't know, go disc golfing if that's your thing. Anything. Call up a friend, go talk to them, and let's get out there and socialize, and let's see if we can get this meeting friends thing back up the leaderboard here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. If you have any thoughts or things that you noticed about this video that I didn't catch and comment on, please leave them in the comments below, and join me here next time for further discussion on how to build your community here and now.